Testing, testing. Okay, YouTube should now be getting audio. My goodness. Okay, OBS is now saying that YouTube has audio. Is that definitely true? Or have I not got that right? Working now? Okay. Oh my gosh. YouTube, I'm so sorry. Okay. Very quick recap for YouTube. Hi, I'm Zara. I'm so glad you're here. I've been working on my own voice for about 14 months. I'm an aspiring vocal coach. I'm not the real deal, but I will be soon. I'm getting some training as of tomorrow, which is insane. So hopefully, I guess in a couple of months, I can stop saying aspiring. I'll just be a vocal coach, which is insane. But yeah, so that's really cool. Okay, so who am I not? This is really important. I'm not a medical professional. I don't have any medical qualifications whatsoever. I am not your doctor. I am not your therapist. I am not your speech language therapist or speech language pathologist. I'm none of those things, okay? So I can never ever diagnose you with something. I can never ever treat anything. Any of those doctor things, any of those medical things, I can't do that, okay? And I never am doing that. I can't help you with your mental health. I can't help you with your physical health. I can't help you with any of that. I can teach you voice. So yeah, just keep in mind, I'm never ever prescribing anything. I'm never ever diagnosing anything. Yeah, hopefully that's reasonably clear. The closest we ever get to that is if I hear something and I'm like, that's some alarm bells of maybe we have like a particular like condition going on, then I might just recommend you have a conversation with your doctor. That's all that is. It doesn't mean you have it. It doesn't mean you don't have it. It doesn't mean you're being treated for it. It just means go have a chat. And fingers crossed you don't have whatever it is that I'm hearing a bell of. Yeah. Cool. Okie dokie. Fab. Any questions about that before we get forward? Because they're like the important disclaimers and stuff. No questions. Happy days. We are blasting through it, guys. All right. So, first section, let's talk about some voice basics. And we'll start off with how we maintain our vocal health. So, important things to do. Make sure you are staying hydrated. At the start of this workshop, I asked all of you to drink a pint of water before coming. The reasoning for this is the vocal folds are very delicate. They need hydration. It keeps them mobile. It keeps them healthy. Helps to avoid strain. It's just good. Hydration is good in all things, but especially in voice stuff. Air is going through. It's drying stuff out. We need to keep it hydrated. Yeah, stay hydrated. Nice and obvious. Keep things nice and relaxed. It's really, really important in your voice stuff that you are keeping a relaxed posture of everything. We don't want any strain and we don't want any discomfort. We'll talk about that later. But being more relaxed will help you stretch things out more. You'll have more access to different things if you aren't pushing and you're instead just staying relaxed. So yeah, just keep things nice and relaxed, and that's going to help you do more. And it's going to help you do your practices for longer. Warm-ups. We'll talk about what warm-ups are in the next section. Or in one of the next sections. It's soon. Warm-ups are really important when we're doing anything with our voice. A good warm-up before doing whatever voice training you're going to be doing is going to help keep things nice and mobile. It's going to increase the blood flow to the area, to the larynx, and it's going to just stretch things out nicely, which is really good. Everything's going to be real comfy when we've done some warm-ups. Again, you're going to have a wider range on all spectrums if you've warmed up first. Lastly, make sure you're having some fun with it. And this is like more important than most things where people just say, oh yeah, and have fun. Like, this isn't just like an extra thing. It's actually important that you're having some fun. When we're having fun with it, we are exploring more. We're not scared to make any weird sounds. And so you're going to learn much faster. Sometimes people like super tunnel focus on one specific thing and they'll ignore everything around it. And when you do that, you end up massively limiting the scope of your learning. So yeah, just make sure you're having some fun with it, exploring different areas. Don't worry about sounding weird or wacky. We're going to sound weird or wacky for certain sounds. That's part of the learning process and it's good. So yeah, don't be afraid to sound weird. What else have we got? Okay, things to avoid. Now these first bunch aren't that big of a deal. The last few are more of a big deal. So spicy foods. Spicy foods contain a molecule called capsaicin. That's what gives the spice. Capsaicin can irritate the vocal folds a bit. The vocal tract a bit. You'll often have found, you've had something really spicy and it's made you cough a bunch. That's that irritation, okay? It can make things a bit more inflamed. And yeah, not much of a big deal, to be honest. But don't have like a bunch of chilies right before doing your voice training. I don't care what you're having normally throughout the day, so long as it's not right before your voice training. Caffeine dehydrates you. And we've been over earlier, hydration is really important. So avoid caffeine right before doing your voice training. A Red Bull right now, probably a bad idea. Puts away with soda. Yeah, absolutely. Sugar. And caffeine can also cause a little bit of irritation for the vocal tract. Sugar also dehydrates you. All the same things as the caffeine, but without the irritation. So definitely put away your soda. Because yeah, sugar can dehydrate you. Which is bad. Again, none of those things, I'm not saying you need to cut sugar out of your life. I'm not saying you need to cut caffeine out of your life. Just keep it within reason and don't have like a whole bunch of it right before doing your voice work. It's going to make things a lot harder for you. Okay, smoking and vaping. I won't spend too much time on that because everybody knows that smoking is bad for you by now. It obviously causes quite a bit of damage to the vocal tract, quite a lot of irritation, inflammation, swelling, all the bad things, as well as all sorts of respiratory issues. Again, you don't have to quit, but it's going to make it's going to make it harder if you are a smoker or a vapor. You might have to just slow things down so that you don't cause yourself any injuries. I've definitely known heavy smokers that have fully feminized their voice and have amazingly feminine voices that you'd never suspect anything. But it makes it harder. So just keep that in mind. Also, a cigarette right before doing some voice training is a bad idea. Cool. Dairy. Dairy is an interesting one. It just promotes mucus production. Now, a good level of mucus is good, and proper hydration is going to maintain your mucus levels really nicely. But the key word there was maintain. We don't want too much mucus. We don't want too little mucus. All right? Dairy will just, regardless of where you're at, you'll be getting more of it. So that could make for a lot of throat clearing and stuff like that, which can then produce some issues. So again, you do not have to cut out dairy. I consume tons of dairy. Just don't have a load of it right before doing voice training. Okay. All right, these last few are a bit more of a thing to focus on. Any strain you experience, any pain or discomfort, and any tension. These are always a bad thing. If you're experiencing any pain, if you experience discomfort, strain, tension, any of those things, you're doing it wrong. You should never be like pushing or forcing a feminine voice. It should never hurt. It should never be remotely uncomfortable. If it is, like I say, you're doing something wrong and it's not going to produce the sounds you want. As you'll hear throughout the next few hours, I can do this and I can be continually talking without any discomfort for 3, 4, 5 hours. It's not a big deal. So yeah, everything we do is things that are very easy to do in terms of musculature, difficult in skill, but the actual muscles themselves, we're making very small movements to make a big change in the sound. So yeah, nothing should feel painful. And if it feels uncomfortable, don't just like push through the discomfort. Like you're doing something wrong. So stop, review, figure out what's going on. If you were to experience pain and you were to push through that pain and just ignore it and keep going, eventually you can cause some really serious damage. As we damage it, we cause little scratches and stuff. And then if we continue to damage and cause more and more and more damage, then eventually we can have some scar tissue starting to build. We can have some nodes starting to build. If we get nodes, they have to be removed surgically. So I don't want to like fearmonger you or anything. But yeah, just if you are experiencing pain, something's wrong and you need to change something. Don't just push through it because that's how injuries happen. Normal injuries aren't a big deal. You take a couple of days off and then you're fine. But yeah, so 90% of the time, you might hurt yourself. It's not a big deal. Take some time off. But if you are hurting yourself, you need to change something. Okay? Does that seem reasonably clear to everybody? Are there any questions on that before we move on?
Napunta naman sa Demetria Farrell.
What was that? I didn't catch that question. Okay, never mind then. No worries. Okay then, let's keep going. So, how does the voice actually work? Why is my mouse going crazy? Wow, that is weird. Okay, I'll ignore that. Yeah, how does your voice work? So we have our lungs. They fill up with air and then they expel that air. That air continues up your trachea into your larynx. And within your larynx, you have the vocal folds. They open and close really, really, really quick. And as they do that, it chops up the air, applying pitch as well as vocal weight. Okay, we'll talk about what they are later in the workshop. Now, as that air that now has a sound to it, as it bounces around your vocal tract, it changes a little bit and it resonates around as it bounces around. Okay, that's how sound is produced in humans. Air from lungs up through vocal tract, through the vocal folds where sound is applied to it. And then that sound ricochets around all of the vocal cavities to eventually leave your mouth as words and stuff. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? It's just a very simple model. I will take silence as a yes. All right, let's keep going. So, trans voice. For the continue section, we're going to talk about things that you can actually do. All right. Reminder that in this specific workshop, I'm going to ask that you stay muted when you participate. You just do it muted at home. If you have questions, I will have designated spots for that. Ask your questions in chat, absolutely. And we'll have a one-on-one section at the end, do remember. So yeah, mic's muted as we continue for this section. Fab. Okay, so firstly, we're going to do a little breathing exercise. This is just to keep things nice and relaxed as we go through our bulk of learning. So all we're going to do, it's really simple. Just get nice and comfortable in your chair so we can get nice and relaxed. I need to adjust my lumbar pillow. There we go. All right, so lean back in your chair, get nice and relaxed. We're going to do some breathing exercises. So if you just want to breathe with me, all right? Breathing in. Hold. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. And we're just going to maintain that same level of relaxation throughout the rest of the workshop. Okay? So I said earlier about doing vocal warm-ups. All right? The warm-up that we're going to be doing is called a SOVT. That means semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. All right? Now, literally what's happening, I said earlier how to produce a sound, air comes from our lungs, up our vocal tract, and passes through the vocal folds. All right? Now, as that's happening, that's a lot of air pressure the vocal folds are undergoing. All right? So what we do with a SOVT is we close off something in the front of the vocal tract, which makes that air pressure bounce back partly. All right? It's a partial closure, so we're not having all of it bouncing back. That will just deaden the sound. But if we have some of it bouncing back, that will reduce the pressure on our vocal folds, just give them a comfier area to stretch out and warm up. Okay? So there's a handful of ways we can do this. We could do a lip trill, for example. We could do a tongue trill. We could do an N sound. We could do a Z sound. We could do an S sound. That one's a bit more difficult. We could do, what else is there? We could do a ying. Ying. Lots of different things we could do. The only one that I'm going to say we don't do, because studies have shown that it just doesn't create enough back pressure to really do much, is going to be the M, the hum, okay? Hum. Just the configuration of that sound doesn't provide enough back pressure, okay? So everything else is all good. The best thing that we can do is something called a straw phonation. This one requires you to have a bottle of water and a straw. So it's not always the most convenient thing in the world. My bottle's also a little bit too full, so this is going to splash a little bit. I'll try to control that, I guess. So for this, you'll need a straw. And you just dunk it in about maybe that much. You'll be able to get an idea of it as you dunk it in. And then you're just going to do the same thing. You'll blow some bubbles and move around the pitch. Okay, so that's by far the best one, but it's inconvenient. And for most people, it's, you know, you don't have a straw and water with you all the time. You do have your lips. So most people prefer the lip trill. It still provides some good pressure, so it's good enough. And I'm going to elect to do lip trills today because my water is definitely too full for me to be doing straw phonations. I'm going to get water everywhere and it'll be a nightmare. So you can do straw phonations, you can do tongue trills, you can do lip trills, whatever it is that you want to do at home. And what we're going to be doing is moving around and doing some pitch slides as we're in that SOVT configuration. I like to describe it as, imagine a pendulum. It sort of swings and slowly trickles out of energy. We're doing the opposite of that, like a reverse pendulum, okay? So we start off with small pitch movements, going up and down, getting greater and greater and greater, till eventually we're at the max ends of our pitch, both high and low, okay? So that'll sound like this. messed that one up. And that was the ends of my pitch range. And then the last little thing I like to do is we'll go right up to the ends and we'll do a little siren, I call them. I ran out of air at the end of that one. But you get the idea, okay? So that is a nice little warm-up, is really, really good. It'll get things, hopefully if you've done that at home as well, it'll feel nice and loose now. Everything will be much easier to stretch around. And hopefully it'll just be, everything will feel smoother, a bit more lumbar, a bit easier. Also, soft teas are really good for clearing out mucus. So if you have excess mucus, like if you've got a cold or something, soft teas are really good for that. I don't recommend doing any voice training if you have a cold, but soft teas are still something you can do. Because they balance out with pressures really nicely, they're also something that are safe to do when you do have a vocal injury. If you know you have to do some talking, even though you've had a vocal injury, do some soft teas, and that's going to really help to minimize the stress from that. Also, morning voice is something that affects a lot of us. Morning voice affects a lot of us. So morning voice is caused by a buildup of mucus as you're sleeping. We have, normally when you are awake, you are swallowing regularly, and that's clearing out that mucus. When you're sleeping, you don't do that. Also, a bunch of dust is going to start building stuff up because, again, you're not getting rid of that mucus. So you just got build up of this dusty, gross mucus. You do some softies, spend like a good 5 minutes doing softies, you'll clear all of that away and you'll be fine again. So if you're struggling with morning voice, do like a whole bunch of softies and hopefully things will start getting a lot better. Okay? Any questions about softies? While you're asking your questions, a little extra thing I'll say. If you're brand new to voice training, like you've never done any of it before, I would say start here. Just start off doing some softies, build up your vocal hygiene. It'll just get things in a really nice, like, comfy position for you to get started. Excuse me. I would say in terms of your practice, you want to be practicing several times a day for like 30 seconds-ish. Or more is fine, but like at least like 30 seconds-ish. The more often you're doing it, I don't really care how long, but the more often you do things, the more you're going to make progress. This is going to have you in some nice vocal hygiene for getting started. It's going to have you in a really nice, like building good habits of keeping things nice and relaxed. It's going to have you just building in a practice routine in something that's nice and simple. So it's a really, really good place to start. It's not going to edit your voice at all. This isn't going to feminize or masculinize your voice at all, but it's a good place to start to get the foundation work there. Okay? Any questions at all? No questions. All right, let's keep going then. So, vocal weight or glottal quotient. This is going to be our first gendered thing that we start changing. What is vocal weight or glottal quotient? I mentioned earlier in the workshop how your voice is produced by first air comes from the lungs up through your vocal tract, up your trachea, through your vocal tract, into the larynx, where it intersects with your vocal folds. Okay? Those vocal folds will open and close, chopping up the air and producing some sound. That sound is going to be pitched and it's going to have some weight to it. All right? Now, the amount of time within each of those close, open, closed cycles, the amount of time we spend open versus closed is the quotient. All right? A more open quotient, we were open for more time we were closed during that cycle. A more closed quotient, we were closed for more time than we were open during that cycle. All right? Also, the amount of times we close, open, close in a single second is the pitch. Okay? So that's what we mean by applying sound. We've got a pitch there, and we have a glottal quotient. All right? The glottal quotient is going to make it sound heavier or lighter. For example, if I start making a sound like this is a much heavier kind of a sound. It's a lot buzzier. It's a lot more intense. It's kind of annoying. All right? This is going to be that closed quotient, that heavy vocal weight. Whereas my voice now is much gentler. It's much softer. It's much lighter. It's got a light vocal weight. This is produced from a more open quotient. All right? If I was to bring things into a masculine area, then right now I have a heavy, buzzier kind of a sound, whereas right now I have a much gentler, much softer kind of a sound. All right? That's the difference with glottal quotient. Okay? We have this sound is light and this sound is heavy. Yeah, can everybody hear those sounds? Does everybody understand what's going on with that? And you can use whatever words you want to describe these things, whether it's soft, whether it's buzzy, whether it's like an intensity thing, whatever you want is fine. Noticeably, it's not a volume thing. It might sound louder because we perceive buzzier sounds as like more attention drawing. So it kind of seems louder, but it's not actually louder. It's just zeroing in your attention. But we can use words like buzzy. We can use words like rough. Any of those sort of things are going to be describing our vocal weight, our glottal quotient. All right. Now, some exercises you can try to do this. All right. I want you to imagine, which one will we go for? Let's go for we'll go for the cooing one first, and we'll just go through a few of these different exercises. Hopefully one of them jives for you. It's okay if any of these individual exercises don't really seem to work for you. As long as one of them does, then that's fine with me. So I want you to imagine you've got a little baby in your arms. Okay? Little baby. All right? That's a very cute baby. We like this baby. All right? And this baby is falling asleep. So we're just going to gently coat it and sort of rock it to sleep. All right? Very nice baby. It's very cute. It's a very nice baby. Or if I was to switch her into my masculine, this is a very cute baby. Very cute. Okay. Now I want you to imagine if that baby is just thrown up. It's just been sick. Gross baby. Or if I switch into my masculine, gross baby. Gross. Okay. So the difference what we're listening for is that versus the or the versus the Okay, that's the difference. Ignore the volume shift that might happen. Listen for that buzziness, all right? That roughness, that aggressiveness. That's the change. That's vocal weight, all right? Compare the to the or the to the That's what you're listening for, okay? That's what you're trying to emulate, okay? A few other exercises you could use. We could try like an ASMR voice. Imagine you're doing some softly spoken ASMR, okay? Or we're doing some softly spoken ASMR. We're trying to be really gentle. We're trying to be really soft. We're trying to make a nice experience for the listener. So we're going to be really, really gentle in our speaking, really soft in our speaking, okay? Versus if we're going for like a sports announcer, yeah, sports ball, things to do with sports. The frickin' double lift has got a double kill. Hells yeah. Sports, sports, sports. Okay? Or if over here, yeah, sports, heck yeah, things to do with sports. Okay? Baseball, the person has just hit the ball with a bat and they're doing a home run thing. I don't know anything about sports, but you get the idea. Okay? That buzziness, that intensity, that's vocal weight. All right? The last thing you can try, if you're really struggling with those, we can do some pitch slides. So if we were to move from a heavier, lower pitch, bring ourselves up in pitch while lightening, we should be able to reasonably lighten your weight. Even if you don't understand how to lighten your weight, those instructions, as I demonstrate and you mimic it, hopefully you'll get an idea. So we're going to start off, Ah. Ah. Okay, again. Ah. 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 And then bring it up with a slide. Ah. And now I'm in a very, very light area. I still sound reasonably masculine. If I bring things right down, I still sound reasonably masculine. Ah. I still sound very masculine right now, but I sound much lighter. I can then bring the pitch down again. Ah. And if I keep my weight nice and light as I go down, then I've got a light weight. So just and now I'm keeping that very, very light weight. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Or if you're trying to go heavier, let's say if I'm masculizing, we can do a pitch slide all the way down until things start getting a bit distorted. Okay? We call that the grave. All right? So if I go down, now I'm in the grave kind of an area. So if I then from here try to bring it up again, and now I'm in a much, much buzzier kind of an area. Okay. So have a go with those exercises. See what works best for you. Whether you're doing the ASMR voice compared to the sports announcer, whether you're doing the like cooing of a baby versus being grossed out because it just threw up on you, or whether you're just doing the pitch slide up to lighten, or pitch slide down until things get distorted, bring it back up till it's no longer distorted, but keeping that weight going on, that buzziness going on. Excuse me. Hopefully with all of that, somewhere you've managed to figure out vocal weights. Okay? Now, a common problem that some people do run into with vocal weight is breathiness. Breathiness is not the same as vocal weight, okay? So for example, if I start talking like this right now, this is me going super, super breathy. But this isn't the same as lightweight. I could even be like, I could be really heavy and I could have a whole bunch of breathiness, but this still isn't a light vocal weight. This is a heavy vocal weight, all right? Or if I drop back into my masculine, this right now is a heavy vocal weight with a lot of breathiness. Okay, so this isn't the same thing as me talking like this, okay? Where I have that softness and that gentleness, I don't have the breathiness. Again, this is that with the breathiness, okay? So now I have a much, much lighter weight, but I also have a ton of breathiness, okay? I'm like running out of air as I'm speaking the sentences. If you are finding that that's happening, you just need to breathe out less as you talk. It's as simple as that. Just breathe out less, focus on the lightness, not the air coming out, not that turbulence, that windiness, all right? Just focus on the lightness while it's still staying as like a full, robust sound that isn't airy or blowy or anything like that. Okay? All right, any questions about weight or glottal quotient from the people in the Discords? No questions. I must be so good at teaching because you guys all fully understand everything that's happening. Is anybody confused? Did anybody not fully follow that? Oh, we have a question. Good stuff. Or at least I see typing. So hopefully we have a question. If you recall, the R voice is for feminization, the or U voice, voice is for masculization, right? No need to focus on both. Yes, so a heavy vocal weight or a closed quotient is going to be sounding more masculine. A lighter weight or a more open quotient is going to sound more feminine. That's correct. I think it's good to do both though. I think you should be able to produce a heavy sound and a light sound so you can compare and contrast. Probably your original voice is going to feature one of those, but it's good to have a really strong, like a really, really heavy voice, or a really, really heavy voice, so you can really compare and hear that difference when things get lighter. Brightness isn't something we're covering yet, Riley. That'll be in the next bit. Excuse me. I'm just waiting to see what questions we got. Out of curiosity, for those of us who can't tell this by ear well yet, what does weight of the pitch feel like? I would say ignore anybody who tells you that it should feel a certain way. I want you focusing on how it sounds. You should be able to hear a difference. If I'm talking like this right now, with a really, really buzzy kind of a weight, you should be able to hear the difference between this sound and this sound now. This should sound very, very different to the sound I was just making. Or if I drop back into masculine, all right, this here, really, really buzzy, should sound very different to this here, which is much, much lighter and much gentler. I would hope that you can hear a difference between this right now and this right now. I really want you focusing on that difference in sound. If you're struggling, that's okay. Train your ear so that you can hear it. All right? Don't focus on the sensation, focus on the sound. The issue with focusing on the sensation is there's a much higher proclivity for tension. People are trying to feel out their muscles and they're trying to like push so they can feel it. And by doing that, they end up pushing too hard and they end up straining and constricting things. So I would avoid trying to feel it. And also, like, your end product that you're trying to get is a change in the sound. So you need to be able to hear it so you know you're getting the desired sound. You know what I mean? So really focus on the sound. Yeah? Good stuff. Okie dokie. Let's move forward. So, size or resonance, okay? We could also be talking about larynx height here. All right? Whenever you hear a sound in a chamber, that chamber is providing some resonance to that sound. For example, if I get my ukulele right now and I tap the body of my ukulele while muting the strings, that's the resonance sound from the chamber of my ukulele. Now if I get a very similar chamber, same sort of shape, mute the strings, give it a tap, totally different sound, all right? And the only difference there is the size of a chamber. My guitar is much bigger than my ukulele. Excuse me. So that's massively changing the sound being produced. Excuse me. The same thing happens in our voice, all right? We can super demonstrate this. If you look at my vocal tract, okay, excuse me. Okay, so the size of resonating chamber massively changes the resulting sound, all right? So this is going to be doing a huge difference in our voice. Now, as your body is exposed to androgens, like testosterone, okay? Excuse me, the hiccups are back. As your body's exposed to testosterone, your vocal tract is getting bigger, your vocal folds are stretching out, and they're getting thicker, all right? I'm going to keep hiccuping. It's going to be a nightmare. Oh my gosh, no. Are we good? I think we're good. No. All right, hiccups are back. Hang on. I can't believe we have a return of the hiccups. I hate this. Okay, where was I? All right, whatever. Yeah, so as your body is exposed to testosterone, your vocal tract expands. That creates a darker resonance. All right? Now, what can we do about this? Firstly, if you're trying to feminize your voice, you want to emulate a vocal tract, but still nice and small. All right? If you're masculizing, you're wanting to stretch things out a bit and emulate a much bigger vocal tract space. So the main area of our vocal tract we're focusing on is our larynx. The reasoning for this is as we move up into our mouth is doing stuff, all right? Your tongue is doing stuff to make sounds. Your lips, they're doing stuff to make sounds. As I talk, my tongue's all over the place. So I can't really use that to be adjusting my resonance, because if I did that, it would distort the sounds I'm making. I wouldn't be able to say all the words in a normal way. Everything would start sounding like I'm saying different stuff, or my accent would change. That stuff's occupied. So we focus on the larynx because that's not occupied. All right. So what we can do is we can literally, you saw me tapping earlier, you would have seen the larynx moving up and down. My Adam's apple, that's part of my larynx, the laryngeal prominence. It's just moving up and down as my resonance changes. Oh my gosh, the hiccups are driving me insane. I may miss stuff here because the hiccups are killing me right now. So if I miss something, do ask questions because I don't mean to miss stuff. So, okay, exercises that we can try so we can have a little play with this. All right. The popular one that everybody uses is big dog, small dog. I want you to imagine that you're a really big dog and you're going to pant like a really, really big dog. Okay, like a Labrador or a German Shepherd. All right. We're going to do a really, really big pant like this. Like a big, big dog. All right. Now I want you to imagine that you're a really small dog, like a Chihuahua or like a Pomeranian, and pant like a really small dog, okay? So that's the difference. Now when you do that, what's going to happen is your larynx, on its own, as if by magic, is going to start raising up. That's what we're after, okay? So don't focus on how it feels, listen to the sound. All right? That's what we're going for. Then as we bring it into phonation, into talking, we can always test it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that's right. Oh my gosh. Please. That's resonance. Okay? Do we all understand? Have I missed anything? I'm going to go insane. I'm going to go insane. By the end of this workshop, I will be an insane person. I'm losing my mind. Oh my gosh. Common thing that this is conflated with, and this happens all the time, is people conflating resonant sounds with pitch sounds, okay? So listen carefully to my voice. All of that is pitch stuff, okay? Whereas if I do larynx stuff, if I do resonance, changing my vocal tract size, all right? That's resonance stuff, okay? Did you hear how a pitch? You could hear the monotony, how a pitch sounded the same throughout that resonance slide. Yeah, did everybody hear how the pitch didn't move? I'm going to go insane. I want you all to know how insane I'm going to go. My sanity is being sacrificed for you guys right now. Okay, so always remember resonance, not pitch. Okay? I want you to be able to move both pitch and resonance so that when you do move resonance, you know it's not pitch. All right? Because you know what that's like, and it's a different thing. Okay? So practice both so that you can know that you're doing the right one. All right? Now, when we whisper, okay, in our pants, they're in that whisper space. Whispers are, we call it non-harmonic. Basically, this is oversimplified, but for your sakes, it's good enough. It's a fine model for what we're using it for. We can say that whispers are pitchless. Not technically true, but it's good enough for what we're doing, okay? So if I'm whispering like this, pitch, there isn't really a proper pitch going on in my voice, which means if I go down,
okay, what's changing is the resonance, okay? If I bring this back into my voice, oh, and it sounds like this, okay? Whereas if I get back into the whisper, and I just go up, oh,
and I bring this into talking, and now I'm back over here, okay? So we can really use that whisper space, moving up and down, to bring us into that resonant shift. And make sure whenever you do that, when you get to the place that you're trying to get to, bring it into some talking, okay? So you know that it's actually making the sound you want it to make. All right? I'm holding my breath in case the hiccups go away. Are we good? We might be good. Hiccups, are you there? I can kind of feel it trying to. I think we might be hiccup free. Okay. My sanity is saved. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, important to just remember, pitch is not the same as resonance. Resonance is not the same as pitch. You can use that whisper space to get yourself moving. Big Dog, Little Dog is a really classic example to get like a really dark sound and a really bright sound. Okay. We could also use whispered vowels. So for example, and you've got to make sure you're staying on the same vowel for this, because different vowels have different resonances because of our mouth changing. But it's still good to, so because of that, we need to make sure we're staying on the same vowel so we know that we're just getting bright from our larynx moving. So, an example could be ah, okay? Ashes to ashes. Or you go for an E. Heat from fire, fire from heat. Okay? So we can use a specific vowel for going up and down. We just got to make sure we stay on that same vowel as we do the exercise. All right? Or if we're masculizing, we go the other way. E.
Heat from fire, fire from heat.
Okay? Does that make sense to everybody so far? So you have our weight stuff, and you have our resonance stuff. All right? Does that make sense? Oh, I'm so glad I'm free from those hiccups. This is so much better, guys. Ah, it's so good. Ah, life without hiccups is amazing. In before they come back in like 10 minutes. No questions. Everybody fully understood that. Through me going absolutely insane. Ain't no way. One of you has a question and you're too afraid to say it. Ask me your questions. I know there's no way everybody kept just blasted through what I was on about there. I barely made sense at all. Come on now. Because I don't want anyone getting left behind. That bit, that is not being chopped up for YouTube. That was rubbish. Is my mouth supposed to move when adjusting resonance? A wonderful question. No, it's not. So like I was saying, we want to be on the same vowel at the darker area, the larger area, as the smaller area, okay, the brighter area. So if we were doing like a whispered vowel, we'd stay on the same vowel throughout the whole thing. So for example, a, okay? Ashes to ashes.
Ashes to ashes.
All right, that's what we're going for. So make sure the only thing that's moving as you're doing the drill is the larynx. All right, which essentially means you shouldn't feel anything moving. So you don't really feel your larynx moving. And you should hear in the sound, the only thing that changes in the sound is it getting darker. The vowel, you'll be able to hear, you can hear the difference between a and e, all right? So if we're going, something went wrong there, or something went wrong there. But if we go, that's okay, all right? So that's what I want. Make sure we're staying on the same vowel, the same shape, everything stays the same. All we're doing is brightening or darkening the sound. Okay? All right. Let's keep on going then. So we've talked about size. We've talked about glottal quotient or weight. All right? Now let's bring those things together. Okay? A weight change on its own. Let's say if I'm starting on a masculine area and I'm trying to feminize my voice, if I go over here and now I've reduced the weight, I don't sound feminine yet. It's not happening yet. But if I then increase, brighten the resonance, now things are working, okay? Same the other way. If I'm masculizing, I'm starting over here, okay? And I, let's say I darken the resonance, okay?
And then I end up over here, but I still don't really sound masculine yet. But if I then start adding some weight, now I'll be sounding much more masculine, okay? So that's what we're going for. That combination of both of them coming together to change the sound, all right? Now, as we do that, we want to make sure that those two changes are proportional to one another. So let's say we use, let's say you brighten by 5 imaginary points. You also need to lighten by 5 imaginary points. Okay, and vice versa. We want things to stay in scale, kind of like on that graph, okay? You can imagine a size or resonance y-axis and a weight or glottal quotient x-axis, okay? That through line going like that is going to be our fullness line, all right? The sound of a voice is going to sound more full and more normal when the weight and the size are within relation to one another, okay? They're like in sync, all right? So the inverse of that is going to be voices are going to start sounding more and more cartoonish as the weight and the resonance become more out of line with each other. So if we have a really heavy weight, but with a really heavy weight, but with a bright resonance, we kind of start sounding over here, which sounds a little bit weird. You could describe this as like a gnome kind of sounds like this, like a cartoon gnome or a cartoon elf. SpongeBob kind of sounds a little bit like this. I'm sure you can think of all sorts of different cartoon characters that sound a bit like this, okay? Most people don't sound like this, all right? This doesn't sound like a chick. This just sounds like a cartoon character. And it's the same over here. If I have a really, really dark resonance, but I have a really light vocal weight, things are way out of proportion, they start sounding really cartoonish. This doesn't really sound like a normal dude. This just sounds weird and cartoonish, okay? We can imagine characters like Winnie the Pooh. He has a bit more of a breathiness coming in, And then we have a bit of a Christopher Robin. I do like honey. Okay, that's Pooh Bear. Or we could have Yogi Bear, kind of sounds like this. I'm smarter than the average bear. Okay, he's got a very light vocal weight with a very dark resonance. It sounds cartoonish. Or Patrick Star. Patrick Star also sounds like this. Okay, so if we want this to sound more normal and less cartoonish, we'd start moving things either over here, so now it sounds nice and feminine, or we'd start adding some vocal weight, so it sounds nice and masculine. Alright? Does that make sense to everybody? So we just want things moving together. Yeah? Now, at first, this isn't going to be... You're obviously not working on this until you've finished your other stuff. Alright? So I first want you to be really good at vocal weight, really good at resonance, and then start pairing them together. Okay? So we can start producing our target voice. And things don't have to be perfectly middle of that fem full quadrant. Disconnected, reconnecting. OBS, I don't know. YouTube, are we still alive? Did we die? YouTube. Oh my gosh. Hopefully we're still okay. Reconnection successful. Okay, YouTube should still be okay. Sorry, YouTube. We should be good now. Nothing happened. Everything's okay. Oh, the Discord's okay? Is everybody still present in the Discord? Are we good? Hopefully we're good. I'm not seeing anybody typing. Are we good? Am I good? Am I here? Audio-wise, yes. Does that mean the screen has gone screwy? If the workshop that I'm sharing has gone screwy, head over to the YouTube. Yeah, the video keeps going to unreadable quality. Yeah, so if you're having issues with the stream quality, watch it over on YouTube because YouTube always has a pretty consistent quality. It'll only be at 720p, I'm afraid, but it tends to be a lot better than the Discord. I think Discord just struggles because I'm in so many things at the same time. What YouTube? I should have talked about this earlier. Okay, let me take a minute. We'll pause for workshop. Let me just take a minute to plug, okay? So, YouTube. If you head over to youtube.com/transnetwork.com. No, youtube.com/@transnetwork. That's trans_network. I know right now the thing below me is incorrect. Sorry about that. I'll fix it soon. If you just type in Trans Network or one word on YouTube, it shows up straight away. So yeah, head over there. You'll see it's live right now. That's how you know you got the right thing. Yeah, you can watch from there and hopefully it'll be a lot clearer. Also, if you like this, you can subscribe to YouTube, I suppose. The main hub for everything I do is the Discord. So join the Discord, link is below. Or you can ask somebody else for a link, I'm sure they'll give it to you. There's a link on the YouTube to the Discord. There are links. If you are in Trans Academy, then you can just click on my user and there is a link to the Discord. If you're in Trans Voice, look in the voice discussion when I announced the Zara's12 account. That one has a link in the description, like on the profile. Otherwise, if you're really struggling, you just can't find the Discord link, send me a DM, I'll fucking send you an invite. Lastly, we do a whole bunch of stuff over at Discord, by the way. We do these every single week. You have me, who is constantly helping everybody. I do literally just straight up free private lessons. They're currently closed because I'm full up. I would say when they do open up, get in soon because free is going to be finishing soon. I'm getting training and I'm hoping to make this my full-time job. So eventually I'm going to be charging for those. There's probably still going to be a free option. We'll see. But yeah, get in on those soon. Even once I start charging, that price is going up, okay? Because we're going to start at a low price and build up to something that I can actually live off because I do have to eat at the end of the day. So yeah, head over there. That's where all the stuff is. We're also launching our brand new
makeup workshops, our makeup and beauty workshops. They'll be starting the last Friday of this month. Is that like the 27th? The 28th. 28th, we have our very first makeup and beauty workshop. So make sure you swing by for that. That'll be really good. We also have recently started up a Ko-fi. So if you want to support what we're doing here, then sign up to the Ko-fi. It really, really helps. It allows me to provide the free stuff for everybody. And yeah, as we build up the Ko-fi, I'm going to be able to dedicate more and more time to providing stuff for all of you. So I really, really appreciate everybody that helps on the Ko-fi. Also, right now, our makeup artist is offering a free makeup consultation over at the Ko-fi. So if you sign up to that, there's a post that you'll be able to comment on to enter into a free raffle. And one lucky winner will get the free makeup consultation. So head over to the Ko-fi. Lots of good stuff happening over there. And I do like some stuff that's only on the Ko-fi. It's not really stuff to do with like trans voice because I want that provided for free for people. Instead, we just have, like my rambles on stuff, talking about whatever. Some cooking stuff is going to come up on there. I also ramble about like issues I have with the trans voice community in terms of like people that are providing care and issues with them not providing good enough care, because the standard is in hell right now. And yeah, it's a nice place for me to go and ramble, and you guys get to listen in on that. And we're going to start doing some Q&As over there soon as well. So yeah, head over to the Ko-fi if you want to support what we're doing. It really genuinely helps so freaking much. It's a really big deal. So yeah. Also, you can get a free thing there at the moment. So there you go. Fab. Okay, back to fullness. So, like I was saying, if your vocal weight is in proportion to your resonance, things are going to sound much more in balance. They're going to sound much more normal and less cartoonish. All right? As I get further away from that fullness, they'll sound more and more cartoonish. All right? Fab. Okay, so we have just gone through all of the, what I call, we've just gone through all of the like pure trans voice things, all right? The things we've just done, that is all the stuff for you to produce a feminine or an androgynous or a masculine sound, all right? You did it. Good job, all right? The next things are more about producing your feminine, androgynous, masculine sound. Because as you've noticed, not every woman sounds the same. Not every dude sounds the same. Not every non-binary person sounds the same, all right? Everybody has their unique quirks in their voice, and this is how we're going to tweak that if we want to. All of this stuff is going to be pretty optional, but some people are interested, so I include it. So we've got a few different things that we can customize our voice with. What I've gotten there are some of the popular ones. However, there's an endless list, all right? There are so many different things that we could choose to customize our voice with. But these are the popular ones. So we have vocal fry, all right? This kind of sounds a little bit like this, all right? This is vocal fry you're hearing right now. It tends to be more popular amongst the femmes, I find. It doesn't have to be something you do all the time. You can just like accent a word with it, all right? Fry is a little bit of an odd one because it interacts and communicates a variety of different things. So, for example, when I'm tired, I'll start to add some vocal fry, and you'll just hear that happening naturally in my voice. Some voices have tons of vocal fry, some have very little vocal fry. I've heard some people that have like their phone voice that doesn't have any vocal fry, and then their normal voice is drenched in vocal fry. The most dramatic version I've heard is Raven from Teen Titan. Her voice is literally like this all the time. She's constantly in a very fry kind of an area. She's drowning in fry, okay? And it's perfectly fine. Different voices enjoy this. So yeah, have whatever level of fry you want to have. It's totally fine. Okay, another thing that is an odd one is pitch. I call pitch gendered 0.5 because, like, on average, women have higher pitch. On average, men have lower pitch. But if you don't follow that, it ain't going to affect the gendering of your voice. Like, if you're a femme voice, my voice is hopefully relatively feminine, but it's got quite low pitch. If I was to use, like, voice tools or something and get it to gender my voice, you'd probably struggle. I tend to go between, like, 160 hertz, which is, like, smack in the middle of masculine, up to maybe, like, 210, which is, like, the bottom of feminine. So, you know, I've got a pretty low pitch voice, and that's what I'm happy with. So yeah, a low pitched feminine voice just sounds like a low pitched feminine voice. A high pitched masculine voice just sounds like a high pitched masculine voice. It's not really going to affect the gendering very much. But if you want it to be in a certain area, then you do that. You put it in a certain area. Now, fry and pitch have a weird interaction with one another, because vocal fry seems to allow us to get things a little bit more wiggly and a little bit loosey. And we often perceive vocal fry as things becoming more effortful. It's a bit of a conflation, but people hear it that way. And we can take advantage of that. So if you are a feminine speaker and you want to pretend that you struggle to go to a low pitch, even though it's really easy for you, what you can do is, let's say whenever you go to like 200 hertz or 190 hertz, you could add some vocal fry. So let's say that this is your real pitch floor. We could say whenever we get to here, we add vocal fry. It'll sound like that's our real pitch floor, even though we could be going lower. All right. So it's like a little trick that the trans femmes can do to, like, make everybody else think that they're stuck really high because they were just born like that because they're women. So yeah, that can just be a fun little thing you do where every time you go down a little bit, you have a little bit of vocal fry. Yeah? So it sounds like you're really struggling to go all the way down here. Oh my gosh, this is so hard for me. I need to just bring the pitch up again. And now I'm finding it much easier, you know? Nice and easy at this higher pitch. And then as soon as I start going low, it's like starting to go quite hard for me, yeah? So that's like a cool little thing you can do to pretend that it's like really hard for you to go down, even though it's like super, super easy for you to go down, you know? So that's just like a neat thing that some people like to do. Breathiness is something that some people like. So if we want to go breathiness, so long as we're doing it on purpose, then it's all good. Breathiness, as I said earlier, just breathe out more. It's as simple as that. So if I start talking like this, I'm literally just breathing out more as I talk. That's all that's happening. I'm just breathing out some more. And you can play with the level of which, you can play with the level that you're doing that. And different people quite like this sort of a voice where you've got like a little bit of breathiness in there. And yeah, some people enjoy this. What else we got? Vocal twang. Twang is an interesting one. Twang will sort of project your voice a bit more. It'll make things a bit louder. So some people like to use it to get that like volume boost. But it can also be something that different people desire. It's quite common in certain accents. So like I know the south of North America, my geography's so bad. I think like Alabama or maybe Texas, the ones that are like sort of that area, they tend to use a bit of twang. So to try twang, just imagine you're like a baby. You're going like, wee, wee, okay? But like, it's going to stay into your voice. And now we got like a little bit of vocal twang coming in. And you can almost hear I'm starting to go a little bit South American. Well, not South American, but South of America. And now I've got that sort of Texan accent. So that's going to, those like South of America accents tend to feature a bit of vocal twang. So that might be something you want to experiment with. And I imagine there are other accents around the world that also feature it. Or you might just want to have it. Yeah, I imagine that's like actually a horrible Texan accent. Bear in mind, I'm from the UK. I don't have any of that nonsense here. We have the rubbish accents, okay? Kind of sound like a Waluigi. How does Waluigi sound? Maybe. I genuinely don't even remember. It's been so long since I played Mario Kart. But yeah, so they're the different... Lots of twang. Yeah, so those are just a handful of like the common things. But just like listen to different voices and break down. It doesn't matter what words you use, as long as you're identifying the sounds. Alright? Listen for the different elements of different people's voices. Try to emulate them if you like them. And start building up the voice that you want to have. It's as simple as that. My hiccups are back. Oh no. We're almost done, so it's okay. Alright, the last little thing. This is again, the customization stuff is going to be very culturally influenced. The speech pattern stuff, even more so. Oh my gosh, on my screen it's freaking out. I don't know if it is on your screen. What are we even on your screens? You're on speech pattern. Okay, good. Cool. So yeah, the customization stuff is very, very heavily culturally influenced. Samnia's got to go. See you later, Samnia. Speech pattern stuff even more so. Okay, this is going to be super heavily culturally enforced, which means everything I'm saying now, take with a huge grain of salt. It might not apply at all to your locality, to your region. And even within your region, this is going to be affecting, on average, a bunch of voices. But like, you'll hear women that don't have what I'm now going to describe as feminine. You're going to hear men that don't have what I'm going to describe as masculine. This is just going to be like that extra bit if you want it, if you need it. Most people won't need this, but for those of you that do, I was one of those that did want it, then here you are. So, I'm speaking from a perspective of the UK and I know some of America. This may apply to you in your locality. Listen to your voices around you to figure out if it does. Okay? So, sharpness, all right? Sharpness is, it's almost like how like well pronounced certain sounds are. So a T is going to be a really good example of a potentially sharp sound. We can have a t, 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 or we can have a ch, 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 ch. Okay? T, ch. Do you hear the sound difference there? We can imagine like a closed hi-hat, t, 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 an open hi-hat, t, t, t. All right? That closed hi-hat, a very sharp T, is going to be typically characterized more in a feminine speaking style. All right? Again, huge, broad, sweeping brush hair. In general, kinda, in some areas, maybe a bit. All right? A more duller sound, going to be that open hi-hat, that ch-ch-ch, more masculine. All right? Kinda, in certain areas, a little bit. You know what I mean? Sweeping brush, broad brush, pinch of salt, all that thing. Okay? This affects a few different sounds, like a t or a d, or like a d could end up being more like a j. Okay? Do instead of do. What's your one? S instead of sh. Okay? It's a bit muddier. It's a bit more mumbled. It's less clear. That's all more masculine stuff. More feminine is going to be clearer, more precise, more of a s. Okay? We can move on to some other stuff. All right? The areas that you stress in a word. So this could be like a vowel elongation versus a consonant elongation. On average, some, kinda, a bunch of women, some women are going to stress for vowels more. All right? So you can hear it in my voice. That so was such a good example of it. All right? You can hear I'm almost skipping over the S sound. The S is all I'm doing. I'm not going so. I'm going so. Do you hear that difference? It's a subtle difference. But for O, I'm spending way more of my time, focus. I'm stressing the O. I'm almost skipping over the S. So. All right? You can hear it throughout my voice. I'm stressing all of the all of the vowels, and I'm just like passing through the consonants. All right, and you can go back through this workshop and listen to that, and you should be able to hear me like putting very little stress on the consonants and really bringing out those vowels a lot more. All right. We could also have some pitch stuff. Okay. Generally, on average, kind of sometimes some women will have more pitch movement when they move around their pitch, and they'll have their pitch moving more like flowy. All right. So if you listen to my voice, as a pitch goes up, it kind of goes down, and then it flows down, and it's kind of going in like a flowy kind of emotion, as opposed to a more masculine style. Sometimes in some areas of the world, kind of, you know, pinch salt, whatever. Things are going to jump around a lot more. Okay. A really good example is like a presidential speech. We'll be talking about the State of the Union, and we'll be kind of going over here, and then we'll be over here. And this is me tonight as a news anchor. Okay. Yeah, the pitch is jumping around a lot more. All right. And it's probably going to be a lot more monotonous as well. Not monotonous, but just more monotonous. Sometimes kind of in certain areas, pinch yourself. Yeah, you get the idea. Now, all of that stuff, that speech pattern stuff, is a shit ton to think about all at once. So what I try to do is give you like a character, and you can use that character to help you just kind of like get into it, if you get me. So, character you could try using is like, we could do for feminine speech, we could do a like a nursery teacher or kindergarten teacher, with like reading a story to a bunch of like 3-year-olds, all right, or 4-year-olds, whatever. Okay, so we'll take like a fairy story and we'll read it out to all the little kiddos. Okay, once upon a time in a land far away, you can hear in my voice how I'm really stretching out those vowels, and those consonants are almost being skipped over. It's also nice and gentle, it's nice and slow, it's very, very clear, and I'm keeping them interested with this like pitch movement, but none of my pitches are jumping around. It's moving slowly, it's moving in a flowy kind of a way, just from one to the other, okay? Whereas if we were to go for a more masculine style, okay, I now want you to imagine, we did it earlier, news anchor, okay? This is today's news, okay? Over in Los Angeles, we had this crazy thing happening. There was a tornado in Los Angeles. Oh my gosh, tornado happening, okay? You can hear how my voice is here, and then it's over here, and then it's over here. Over to you, Karen. You can hear how it jumps around in that voice, okay? And also, there just isn't as much movement happening, all right? So again, this is really sweeping the broad brush with this stuff. And there's a lot going on with it. It's going to be quite like geographically dependent. But this stuff is at least relevant to UK. And I know it's relevant to a lot of the US. Certainly like the Valley Girl stuff has this to like the umph degree. So yeah. Keep that in mind. It might be something you want to play with. Certainly this is going to be like, you've done everything else already. You're producing a pretty feminine sound. And these are like last little things you want to tweak. Okay. All right. Any questions about speech pattern stuff? No questions. You all understood that. Good shit. All right. Well, in that case, we will head ourselves over to the open forum section. So, and now you see me, and I'm a bit bigger. Hells yeah, we love bigger. Bigger is better. My hair is kind of messed up, but whatever. Hi. Okay, so any questions about anything we've covered at all today? All right. While you're thinking of your questions, I'm going to pop to the toilet. So get all your questions ready, bring them on in chat, and we'll go through them.
come on down and see me where you can get a free ass whooping, and I'm talking free. Free 99.
Someone just tried to run an ad during my little pee break. Guys, come on. All right, no questions. Oh my goodness. How crazy. No questions at all. If there are no questions whatsoever about voice, then let's head over to the one-on-one section. So if any of you guys want me to work on your voice one-on-one for a little bit, let me know. You struggle a lot. I ne'er hate. That's how I say it, isn't it? You struggle a lot to maintain a constant resonance. It always returns to a dim tone. Are there any tips? So this is definitely going to happen. And this is going to happen with a lot of things you're learning. You'll be like, as you're just talking, you're going to move back to original. It's just a matter of being observant and catching yourself. All right? Be really slow with it. Listen to your voice. Listen carefully. Listen for that returning to that dim tone. All right? When that happens, notice it, fix it, and carry on. It is just a matter of repetitions. The more you notice it and fix it, the more you build that habit of staying in that brighter resonance. This is just a part of habituation. It will take a long time. It took me maybe like 2 or 3 months to get that to not happening at all. So yeah, it's just time and repetitions. Just keep doing it. Make sure you do your resonance practice multiple times a day, every day. And you'll start building that habit of keeping things bright. And just whenever you're practicing, listen real careful, watch for those drops. All right? And make sure when you're doing your practice, just practice talking. You know? You can do your drill to get into it, but then just talk. Okay? Hopefully that'll help you out. No questions here from now. No questions here for now. But you want to offer your compliments. Oh, thank you so much. This is probably the most useful thing. Oh my gosh. This is probably the most useful thing you've had the privilege of listening to. And you've had several paid lessons. Keep up amazing work. Thank you. Prekka, I'm so glad that this was helpful to you. Yeah, the whole point is for this to be helpful for people. Unfortunately, the quality of trans voice care is in hell. It's so bad. There are a lot of people charging and not offering good quality services at all. So I'm glad this was able to help you. Yeah, that's lovely to hear. I suppose if you want more of me, join my Discord. You can get more free stuff. And if you really loved it, I hate doing this plug, but I know that it's going to help us to provide more fucking stuff for trans people, so fuck it. You can also sign up to the Ko-fi to give money each month if you want to. It's optional, only do it if you want to, but it is going to help for just providing more of this to more people. But oh my gosh, it feels so cringe to fucking plug, but whatever. Blech. Gross. Umami Mummy Bridget. Hi. You've just caught us right at the end. I'm so sorry. But by all means, go back through and listen to stuff. Or join the Discord, and then you'll be able to join in for the next one. You probably will. Oh, thank you so much, Prekka. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Bridget. You have just missed like the entire workshop. I'm so sorry. But we do these every single week, 7 p.m. UTC. So it's every Sunday, 7 p.m. UTC. Swing by and you can learn some stuff about how to do the trans voice stuff. Also, you can join the Discord. All of the information is at the Discord. And I help people all the time there. So yeah. Just out of you? No worries. No worries at all. Fabulous. Okay, is anybody wanting some one-on-one help with their voice and support? Good shit. Thank you. Anybody at all want some one-on-one help? This might be the first one where nobody wants anything, which is fine. No pressure if not. Keep in mind, if you do join for one-on-one and you like unmute your mic and stuff, that YouTube can hear you. There are people watching right now, and it's okay, but I gotta make sure you're aware of that. No one at all. Wow, this is the first time this has happened. No sweat though. You are aware. Good. Bridget, is that you volunteering to have your voice looked at? Again, no pressure, but if you want to, you can. Nerve-wracking to do it in front of people on recording. Well, yeah, absolutely. If you feel you can get past those nerves, then absolutely, I can help you right now. If not, make sure you're in the Discord. You are always able to just ask for some help over there, or you can submit voice clips in the little submission bit. So that's yeah.
Hello.
Hello. How can I help you?
As I stated, I'm here to view and support.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything I can help you with, Bridget?
No.
No, that's totally fine. It's totally fine. And by the way, Bridget, your voice sounds lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, you're very welcome. So what are we thinking, Riley? Are we jumping in, or are we going to do stuff in Discord later? It's totally fine if you don't want to jump in right now. You okay for now? All right, no worries. Okay, in that case then, we're going to finish up the workshop. Thank you all so much for coming. Again, apologies to Bridget, but you've literally caught us right at the end. But we do this every single week. So, yeah, people can come, they can learn every single week. Make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already. We do these every week. We also, at the end of the month, on the 28th, are going to be having our very first Trans Network makeup tutorial stuff, like a makeup workshop ran by our in-house beautician, which is amazing. It is super exciting. I'm paying somebody to come and do stuff for us. It's really cool. I'm very excited about it, if you can't tell. And that's the sort of stuff that the Ko-fi money is going towards. We built up some money at the Ko-fi, and now I've hired someone to provide stuff for you. So that's the point of this. If you're wanting to help with stuff like that, head over to the Ko-fi, subscribe to whatever tier you can afford and whatever you're happy with, and I will keep providing more stuff for people. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okie dokie. Well, thank you so much, absolutely everybody. I am going to end the stream now. Goodbye, YouTube. We love you. Big heart. We love you. However I'm supposed to do this. Okay. We love you. You're the best. Ta-ta and goodbye.